Well, good afternoon. I'm sitting down with Mikhail Naumov from DigitalGenius, who this afternoon shared with our audience about the applications of artificial intelligence into the customer service space.
Yep.
Welcome. Thanks for sitting back down with me.
Thanks for having us. It was a great time earlier today. Yep, looking forward to this quick conversation.
Yeah. You know, what I'd really like to do is give you an opportunity to expand a little bit more on the topic. You know, what are you seeing with regards to how AI can be applied in the customer service space and without disrupting the human element, because it is ultimately a human touch point in the customer experience journey?
Absolutely. So over the course of the last 18 months, we've been experiencing what everybody refers to as the AI hype cycle, where practical applications of machine learning are finally becoming possible. And as part of this, a lot of folks are jumping on board and kind of making a really big deal about it. You have a couple of fundamental components that are driving all of this change. Number one is the wide access to massive amounts of data, because every machine learning algorithm to be effective does require lots of data in order to train. The second thing is the advancements of hardware. So today you can use GPUs from companies like NVIDIA, and you can process these massive amounts of data very cost efficiently. And so you have companies that are doing that. And finally, the actual research has really become, it's been conducted for decades, but it's finally coming to fruition. So we're seeing a very accelerated cycle of taking cutting edge research and bringing it to a practical product reality inside businesses. For us, it's customer service. And one thing you mentioned is about keeping the human element. I just want to address that for a second, because AI tends to get a bad reputation in certain circles. Folks think that perhaps it's going to replace jobs. Have you heard any of this?
That's all we ever hear. That's the greatest fear.
Exactly, and it's a fear, and we completely understand where it's coming from. But inevitably, when we're deploying a DigitalGenius software inside contact centers, and we walk in and we work with these customer service professionals, whether it's a few hundred or a few thousand agents sitting in a contact center, inevitably what they're looking for is the next generation of tools that are going to make their job more efficient, that are going to make them be able to perform at their best. And unfortunately, that's just not the way things are today in contact centers. Yeah. What you have is, some traditional software that's like the piping that they have in order to communicate with customers. But the customer view has changed. They're expecting faster responses. They're expecting to communicate on channels that are important to them, like Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp, right? People want to talk to each other using these new channels. The way they would talk to their friends is the way they now expect companies to engage with them. So because of this, technology really needs to step up and give those contact center professionals a better set of tools to be able to perform with.
Yeah, so you're talking about augmenting the human capabilities in a customer service center.
Definitely, and I think it goes way beyond that too. Contact centers are just a slice of where machine learning is really going to make a big difference in the world. Other verticals are sales, marketing, legal professions, but just to go back to contact centers, it's really about combining the best of human and machine intelligence in a seamless environment to create better experiences for people. And we think that by implementing machine learning directly in that environment, we can help the agents who are in the trenches. They are the grassroots of this entire function, but then eventually help their managers and then help the end customers.
Yeah. Is there a profile of the type of company that's having more success with this than others, or is it really consistent across all?
No, I think that's a great question. It's like AI is not magic. In fact, it's mostly math. And so when it comes to math, you need inputs. And those inputs are mostly today in the form of historical data and volumes. So when we come into a contact center, now the smallest contact center we've ever worked with was 10 people. And that's like the smallest. And machine learning can still be effective there, provided we have enough historical data to train on. The biggest is thousands of agents, and there's no question about data. Now, where this whole thing comes together is that to have machine learning done right in a contact center, you can't just rely on historical data. That data is enough to give you the baseline to make the machine learning perform to a certain level. But where the thing really kicks off is when agents start interacting with the machine-generated suggestions, and they start approving and personalizing and even ignoring or rejecting some of the machine suggestions. So as a result of this, you have the historical plus the agent-reinforced learning, and the algorithm gets stronger with every single day.
Yeah. So is this monolingual, or do you have clients that are applying this to multiple languages and markets?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So we understand that customers are becoming more global every single day. It's become much more easier these days to travel to different places, and you end up in a place somewhere where they just don't speak your native language. So, but you still need help, you need support, and in this case, machine learning does come into play. Unlike some of the more traditional natural language processing technologies, which rely on language-specific models, machine learning is quite different. As long as you have enough inputs and outputs in historical data in the language that you want to train on, you can train the model to perform in that language. So as a specific example, we worked with a great company, a great innovator in the space called KLM Royal Dutch Airlines. We initially launched our product for them in the English language, well, frankly, because we thought that's the only thing we could do. And eventually we ended up training it also on the Dutch language. And as it turns out, the Dutch model performed even better than the English model, and none of our team members speak Dutch. So the result of this is that the machine picked up on this all on its own, just from the data. So today we deploy in multiple languages, from English, Dutch, Spanish, French, Arabic, depending on where you go. As long as you have enough data that you could feed the machine, it could train and it can then give you performance in that language.
All right. Sounds like you made a lot of progress in a short period of time with the tech. Where do you see it going in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, so we took this product live at the end of December 2016. So over the last 9 months, the software is now powering more than 30 contact centers around the world in 12 different countries on 4 continents in 6 or more languages. And that's kind of the journey thus far. We see that this is working extremely well in verticals like travel, consumer packaged goods, anywhere where there's really a B2C environment, where there's lots of customers vying for attention of the brand, whether it's to help them with a problem, a concern, or maybe giving them a compliment, trying new channels like Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and even traditional channels like email and chat. Where this is all going, I think, is really customer service is going to become more proactive. And with the abundance of data, we're going to be able to predict when a customer is likely to experience a problem before they actually do. And the machine learning can actually be a huge component of that in helping you determine before a problem occurs and then being able to execute on some kind of message. And the second thing that we actually see happening in contact centers is a natural organic consolidation of marketing and sales functions and customer service functions. Traditionally, those are very siloed environments, but more than ever today, you see service organizations actually delivering huge value to the company, not just to support and serve customers and solve challenges, but actually deliver upsell opportunities, cross-sell opportunities. And we think that space is really exciting. So really the contact center agent is becoming less of a repetitive menial, clicking buttons, and he's becoming the first line of communication between a brand and the customer.
Yeah. I imagine for brands and for your customers, that proactive problem solving is a true bottom line benefit. Because if you can solve problems before they exist, you have happy customers, and happy customers are profitable, loyal customers. So,
absolutely. Well, the truth is, even in the best case scenario, in a perfect world, there's always problems that arise that have never happened before, so predicting those might tend to be difficult. So the reality is, machine learning is not magic. It's not going to just overnight solve all your problems and you no longer need a contact center, nothing like that. In fact, we really think it's about empowering people and professionals with the right tools equipped for today's reality.
Yeah. Well, this is a tremendously innovative application of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and I appreciate you sharing the insights, and it's been interesting, and I know our audience will appreciate it as well.
Of course. So just as a summary of being here at Lionbridge today, it was fantastic. We got a chance to connect with a lot of industry experts and professionals working in this space and others, and I just think some of the content that happens here is really profound, and so it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Thanks, Mikhail.
Thank you, Clint.